Rugby World Cup 2025 draw, the Women's World Cup next year, folks. The draw has been made. The pools have been sorted. They looked fairly balanced for what my gauge is on the women's game, which is not that great, but I did keep an eye on the recent tournament over in Canada. We'll go through the pools. What are these some kind of like tasty matchups? And you guys can let us know your thoughts. August next year for the Women's World Cup. I went to the last one over here in NZ, which was kind of delayed by a year. I feel like this tournament in England is going to be bigger in every way. I mean, it's bigger in the fact that there's more teams. The last tournament only had 12. This one's got 16 teams. So it is going to be bigger. I feel like we're going to see bigger attendances and possibly higher ticket prices, but I think they're trying to keep the ticket prices relatively reasonable. The main question is going to be, can anybody stop England? Because they are absolutely all-conquering. They have got the new kind of world record for points rankings on the Rugby World rankings, be it men's or women's rugby. Higher world ranking than that, all-conquering, 10-year at number one, All Blacks team. This England team is looking pretty bloody good. They're in Pool A. They didn't draw teams in the kind of top band. They just gave them number one in the world, number two in the world, number three in the world, number four in the world, the kind of automatic top seed in pools A, B, C, and D. So England in Pool A was always going to be a thing. They get drawn with Australia, USA, and Samoa. Honestly, I feel like USA and the Wallaroos, the bloody magnets that are going to do my head, and apologies to Brazil for not having your magnet. But the Wallaroos and the USA, I feel like is going to be the most interesting one of that game. I feel like England likely just conquer their way through that pool. The Wallaroos finished top of the WXV2 and the USA finished bottom of the WXV. So they should be a good matchup. I feel like for second spot, Samoa likely bringing up the rear. That's just my guess. Pool B, Canada, who are second in the world at the minute, pushed England in that final match of the WXV, which was nice to see because I kind of half expected them to get flogged. Canada were, I don't want to say a surprise package because they've been good for a long time, but I don't know how many people saw them getting that close to England. Top of Pool B along with Scotland and Wales. Could be an interesting pool, and then Fiji there as the fourth banded team in that pool. Scotland and Wales kind of continue their Six Nations rivalry in that pool potentially for second if Canada is able to kind of maintain that form that saw them go ahead and push England. Fiji, again, kind of like Samoa, you feel like should be the bottom team in that pool going through, but with Fiji and rugby, I think it applies to the women as well as the men. You never quite can be 100% sure. Pool C is fascinating because Ireland beat the Black Ferns, and apologies I don't have a specific Black Ferns magnet, in the most recent matchup in that WXV, which was something of a kind of surprise result. But Ireland's rise through the ranks in the women's game seems to be coming along quite nicely. They weren't even at the last Women's World Cup. Here they are in Band 2 in terms of their seeding, so that's a very tasty one. But then you've got Japan, who finished none from 3 in the WXV2, and Spain, who finished 3 from 3 in the WXV3 below them. So potentially that's the best one where maybe you don't see the bottom ranked team necessarily finish bottom. And then France, Italy, South Africa, and Brazil in Pool D. South Africa seems to be another one of those sides that's making some good progress. They got Swayster Brain working with them now, and he is a very kind of good rugby brain, and he speaks very passionately about the side. I mean, they pushed Australia close, like 26-33 in their most recent matchup. They pushed Italy 23-19 in their recent matchup. So sides that are technically above them, they have been able to get closer than they would have done historically. So they seem to be a side kind of tracking in the right direction, I guess, similar to Ireland. France and Italy will also be an interesting one, given that, the French weren't that convincing in their recent tournament. I think only won the one game, and it's a Six Nations rivalry, which is always a fun one to see continued. But yeah, It will be an interesting one. As I said, I'm pretty optimistic this is going to be hands down the best run, best attended Women's World Cup. I do feel like it's a very, very, very tall order for anyone to stop England going through to the title. That's the only thing that maybe just takes away from it a little bit, that England are already all conquering. They are already literally the best team in the world in terms of like the highest ranked team on world rankings ever, and they're hosting this tournament. It seems tough for anyone to get near them. But sports can be a funny thing. We've still got a year's time for other teams to do something. Maybe England fall off, come back down to earth a little bit in the next 12 months, or a bit slightly less, seeing as it's August. But yeah, it seems like it's England's very... I have tried to look up some odds, but I didn't see them listed. But massive, massive favourites. More favourites than any team has ever gone into a World Cup, surely. But yeah, for the rest of the teams, I feel like there are some really interesting matchups. I'll be following it with some interest. My lack of knowledge on the women's game still remains pretty vast. So if you guys have got any more insights on what you think could be some of the kind of key matchups in these pools, do let us know. And yeah, we look forward to the competition kicking off next year. They are going to draw these specific fixtures, I think, from next week. They are not quite there yet. But anyway, you guys let us know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.